So I am fairly new to the Amazon Vine program, and taxes has been a major pain in my butt, as I'm sure for those who have started out and for those who have been doing it for a long time. I'm not sure, but per Amazon and per YouTube, which I've seen, they've been around for over 11 years. And I believe in the beginning, taxes wasn't even a thing from what I have seen on old YouTube videos on the Amazon Vine program. So I decided to go to the three things or the three people or resources that I can to try to figure out exactly how to do this taxes stuff, because for the life of me, I don't know who is in these positions and powers was like, hey, let's have somebody pay money if they receive something like this for free. We're going to tax them on this. Well, that doesn't make sense, because if I receive this as a product, how can you tax me on a product? There's no money here. Hey, where's the money? There's no money here. And I got some explanations, which is ridiculous, but here we go. So I was always told since a little girl, never go off of a third party. If you hear something about anything, go to the source, or they say the horse's mouth. Hear it from them. That way you can always refer back to saying that you told me this, not such and so told me X and Y and Z. So I looked up a number to call the IRS, and I got somebody. Who would have thought? I thought I was going to be on hold or listening to a ringtone for hours. I mean, I was on hold for about an hour and some change to get a person, but that was hard in itself. I am a small business, as I said before. I do the Amazon Influencer Program plus other things, and I tried to call the business line first because they have a section where if you're a business, small business, you can call people. But again, it is almost January, and places get kind of crazy during almost tax time. So I wasn't expecting to get anybody, but that didn't work. So then I said, okay, I'm looking at publications, what is what they're called on the IRS website, and it's another word. And I was myself trying to put in keywords in the search result bar on the IRS website. And I wasn't really getting anywhere because the keywords I was using to try to find an article pertaining to that, of course, would be a different keyword in the IRS's eyes. So that was frustrating. So then I finally was like, well, let me just see if there's a customer service number to help you find these publications. And it was. I was like, woohoo, there we go. Let's do this. Call the number. I was on hold, and I'll say about an hour or maybe a little bit less. I got a lady on the line, and I was like, hi. I explained to her verbatim, and this is what I tell everybody: if you are a product reviewer, be so simple that when people hear it, they're like, what? So I told her, I said, hi, I am a small business, and I have another stream of income that's fairly new to me where I receive products for reviewing. And in exchange for the reviewing of the product, they give it to me for free. However, because I am receiving a limited supply of products, it goes into a bucket of estimated taxable value, which in turns generates a 1099 ENT at the end of the INT at the end of the year. I think it's one of those two words, acronyms I said. And I was like, I need to understand what the IRS is saying and what I would need to do, and if I need to pay taxes. Because taxes, from my understanding, since I've always been a worker before, was when you make money, you pay taxes. I've never been told, I've never been, educated on this or ever seen that if you receive a product, you have to pay taxes, because there is no money there. How would you pay money on something? How would you pay taxes on something that does not come to me in the form of cash, a check, crypto, or any other kind of currency? She put me on hold. She understood the question. I was like, great. Okay. I'm getting somewhere. So she came back on the line, and literally I can just tell it was going to be nothing, going nowhere. She says, I'm so sorry. The Internal Revenue Service agents that are able to answer text questions are not taking phone calls at this time. They're only accepting phone calls for a specific program in regards to taxes. right now until we don't know when. So I could advise you to go to the website, go to the actual search bar and put in these keywords, which is ones I already used. Okay. And see if you can pull up something to read through to see if it's there. And I said, well, okay, thank you. Because what am I going to say to this lady? Like, she is in her position, and her position was, in my knowledge, to look up a publication, but apparently she had no clue, which is why she was reaching out to another department who at that time is not accepting calls for anything besides this one particular program. And I'm just set with going back to the website I was already searching that gave me no results, and that was that. So my plan to go to the IRS to hear from them failed, and I was like, okay, so what's my alternative? I already was in search of a CPA company to help me get my taxes under control because, you know, a lot of things are happening. I'm getting more income. I need to make sure I'm doing things right. I use TurboTax typically, and I also have the TurboTax program. Plan where you can speak to an actual CPA, and I forgot I spoke to them too. So I spoke to the TurboTax CPA person first, and she told me that because I will receive a 1099, I need to pay taxes. And I didn't like that answer. So I thought she was wrong. And I was like, all right, thank you. And I hung up with her. So then I looked around my area, looked to different counties, different states, even looked on Instagram. Like, I need to find me a CPA that may be more knowledgeable about this area because it doesn't make sense to pay taxes on something that's not monetary. Like, how does that make sense? So I found a company, I contacted them, same thing. If you find yourself getting a 1099, you must claim it as income on your tax return, and you need to pay taxes on that. And again, when I'm like, well, why is that? The answer is that's what is in the tax code. And I was just like, So then I remember that I actually signed up with a tax accountant type of app called Keeper's Tax. And I literally signed up for a plan with them, I want to say almost a year ago. So my plan is about to renew. And they sent me an email like, your plan is about to renew. And I was like, I never used them and I paid money for it. Wasn't expensive at all. Plus, it's a write off. So I didn't really care. And so I'm like, let me ask them because they're very simple and very easy. And I was like, all right, whatever. Let me just give it a try. So this is the message that we had, right? And so I had asked her, what did I say to her? Let me just go back to my messages. I said, yes, so I received these products, same kind of thing I told the IRS. She said she will pass it along to the team of CPAs so they can literally hunt down per the IRS website, the same website the IRS told me to search, little old me, and figure it out on my own. So she came back and she said, firstly, I asked, am I able to write off these products? Because I am not getting money from these products because I can't sell them for 6 months per Amazon rules. And I am receiving a 1099, but what income am I generating to pay the taxes for that product? It just, again, is boggling my mind. And so she said, just following up to let you know that our CPA team advised that you cannot write off the value of the goods you receive in exchange for reviews. Whether you use the items for another business or not, they are initially acquired as revenue and should be reported as so. The IRS states under payment in kind that any goods that are received for services are not deductible because you cannot deduct your own labor. And I'll link that publication PDF in the description box below. And I said, all right, great. Thanks for the link. And then I went on to ask her, well, since I have this new stream of income, even though I won't receive any money for it, how am I going to pay taxes for things that is increasing my income if it's not coming in the form of money? How would that work financially? If the income, for example, brings in 10K, how would taxes for this income that produces no money get paid for? She said, let me get back to you again. I'm gonna consult my CPA team. And I already had an idea she was going to mention the same basic things, which is write-offs. And I was like, well, let me just make sure before I assume that's what the answer was going to be. And she came back and she was like, thanks for your patience. You will need to report the income from goods received if you are issued a 1099. I suggest making sure you track all your write-offs related to your business in order to be able to reduce your self-employment income. The income you will pay taxes on equals gross income minus write-offs. Here are more ideas for write-offs. And she gave me a link for those via the Keeper's Tax blog. Um, yeah, so what has come down to it is no matter what, as long as Amazon is providing us with a 1099, we have to report that on our taxes as income. If you do not have any other form of income, because technically, if you are able to do whatever you need to do to write off all of that income, I feel like, well, won't that like trigger an audit or something? But don't big businesses do this? They don't pay the IRS. They would rather use all that money up for their business and just use it for ads or use it for products for their company, and just keep using the money for their business to pay less in taxes. I don't know, but the list of write-offs would essentially help my business because I don't use ads as much, but I have seen many successful businesses talk about, I would just take a lot of money and put it on ads, promote my stuff, and it's a write-off. And I mean, if that's the best way to do it, so be it. But again, if someone doesn't have a secondary income that's like real money coming in, you're kind of screwed. You're not kind of, you're screwed. And that's where it is. You need to be careful. You need to really think about, is this program worth it? Again, I mentioned in the other video, those products that Amazon provides in the buying program that are at $0. So you don't even have to worry about receiving a 1099 at the end of the year. So check out that video to understand some of those products. And that will be your best bet. But again, that will limit you. So if you're moving to your new place and you don't have any kind of money to furnish it, and you need things for yourself or your children or your animal or whatever, you wouldn't be able to do those because those will generate a balance for that 1099. If it's over 600, you're going to get one. So yeah, that's my story. That's what I actually, went through. So I hope this information was some sort of, helpful. Again, this is not me telling you what to do for your taxes. This is literally just me explaining to you my experience and what I went through. But still, go do your own research. Reach out to the IRS or CPAs or accountants or anybody that are more knowledgeable. But this is what I think it is. You just stuck having to pay taxes. And if you don't have another stream of income to make up for those taxes, then you're going to be in a pickle. So, yeah, that's what we have right there for Amazon Vine program.